All right, good morning, Alta Realty Group agents. This is Kevin Lauren, I'm the Director of Training and Marketing here. And today we've got a great presentation. We're going to talk all about basically tips for buyers putting in offers sight unseen during this coronavirus and just in general. I know it's not something that is completely ideal, but you're probably going to find yourself in this situation. We also are joined by Bill Seitz. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah. So first of all, we want to just thank everybody for attending, and we want to welcome the new recruits that we've got on the call today. We've got quite a few, so welcome, guys. It's a pleasure to have you. And today we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be going through the 10 tips for buyers putting in sight unseen offers. So it'll be a great little webinar for us today. Another thing is we just want to always kind of do a couple housekeeping items. We want to remind everybody to get their deals into SkySlope, within about 24 to 48 hours of getting that signed contract. We want to have that into SkySlope. That helps us keep track of everything and stay in compliance. So really, really important. Also, our COVID disclosures. If you have questions about the COVID disclosures, don't hesitate to contact Travis or contact any one of us. Most of them are on they're in WIN forms, and so please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any trouble with those. Also, I want to bring on Travis Breton. Good morning, Travis.
Good morning. How's it going?
Great. So Travis, of course, is our corporate broker, and so if you need to get a hold of Travis, go ahead and do that regarding the COVID disclosures, etc. Without further ado, Bill, why don't you give us a little update on what's happening with Clearview Mortgage? I know that you had a little follow-up with something that happened last week.
Well, yeah. First, I'd like just to mention that it's nice to see that the market has crossed the 25,000 on the Dow average. So that's a new milestone. That's just kind of good news, is where the confidence is going and where, investors are feeling good about some recovery here and things that are happening in the country. So, always looking for positive signs on the macro level. Obviously, we still have some challenges here in California, and it sounds like things are starting to loosen up and open up in several capacities. So I think we're going to start seeing things slowly return to normal. Well, I won't say normal, but we'll slowly kind of head in that direction. And I think that's encouraging. We're at least heading in a new direction than the old direction. So
exactly. So hopefully we're heading back up. We're entering that V-shaped curve that we was talking about. So for so many months.
Exactly. And I just want to touch really quick before you get started. I want to thank Don Kearney for sending, he's on these webinars regularly. And Don, if you're listening this morning, which my money is on that you are, I want to thank you for sending something my way. So last week or last Wednesday, I talked really quickly about the forbearance issue with what was happening and the information that I was getting from my reps at the different wholesale banks that we work with. And up until literally, looks like last Wednesday, actually the day of the webinar, Realtor Magazine actually published just a new article on forbearance and what is kind of happening in the industry. And Don was nice enough to recognize that, see it, and he pushed it over to me, I think at midnight or 1 in the morning or something. Or maybe I read it late, I'm not sure, but I appreciate you, Don, and you for doing that. But basically the Federal Housing Finance Agency, which oversees Freddie and Fannie, kind of the guidelines holders or issuers for mortgage, just basically said, if you go into forbearance, that will not keep you from being able to refinance or take advantage of some of the record low rates right now. So, I think that is a really positive thing. People that are obviously going through temporary hardship, whether their industry's been disrupted or they're, having issues for the moment for, making those payments. Once they, basically they're not going to be eliminated from having refinance once things are current. You know what I mean? They're not going to have to wait the 12 months as we thought, as everyone was saying, because those were the guidelines before COVID. But now they're basically saying, hey, we're customizing the approach to this problem and not going to, keep homeowners from being able to take advantage when they can. So I think that's really good. And once again, I appreciate Donnie for sending that over. If anybody wants the link to the article, it's not a long one. I can certainly push it out through Kevin, and you can read up on it if you got clients that are asking about it or they want information about, what's going on with that, right now. So just maybe shoot us a little message.
Yeah, it also, Bill, is maybe you can throw that in the chat. You can just put that link in the chat.
I will do that.
And then also, I'll put that link on the replay when I push the replay out.
Okay, perfect. So I will work on that while you guys get going.
All right, great. All right, so without further ado, we're going to get into our presentation today. So let me bring up my graphic. One sec, guys. Okay, so this whole COVID situation has created a few different, plenty of different situations where buyers are putting in offers sight unseen. So, and it's obviously not an ideal situation to be in. So there's a lot of hurdles that we have to overcome in order to be doing this correctly with our clients. So the first thing is we got to be really specific and realistic about what our clients' wants and needs are and what their expectations are. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to really have some in-depth conversations with your buyers and to really make sure that we know exactly what they're looking for and the kinds of things that they're going to expect in this property. So normally we're with that buyer and we're with them in person, and we're relying on visual cues, and we're relying on things that we kind of maybe their hand gestures or their positioning, or there's a lot of nonverbal communication stuff that we pick up on when we're showing properties in person. So without that, you have to take all that out. And so we're going to have to really extrapolate and, have really in-depth conversations and discover exactly what they are looking for. So it's not as easy as being in person, because we really rely on a lot of the nonverbal stuff. So that's just the very basic, is we really got to be specific about the expectations. Second, it's a really good idea to have your buyers measure their key pieces of furniture. They don't have to measure every single thing, but everybody has a bed or an armoire or certain things that they have to have in their house. And so having them measure these key pieces of furniture so that you can, as the agent, you can go in and you can make sure that these pieces of furniture are going to fit in that house that they're going to buy, right? So we really want to advise them to keep the measurements with them instead of packing them away in a box, right? Send them to me, the agent, make sure I know that these key pieces of furniture are going to fit. So, and then also, it's a good idea to even share that with with a not an inspector, but with a contractor, so they have that information as well. So the third thing is buyers, of course, in this time, they need to master online search tools. And so don't let them go just wander around on realtor.com and some of these other sites. What we need to do is make sure that they are viewing properties on our website, because our websites are connected to the MLS. So that's a huge thing to train your clients about and say, hey, if you're on realtor.com or on, Trulia or Zillow, you're going to be running across all kinds of properties that aren't even available. And so the only way to see what the actual market is to be on our MLS connected websites. And so they have to, teach them how to do it. And so, I'll pull up our websites, and they are geared exactly for this. So this is one of Charlie's listings. And so we can direct these people to these single property websites. And, even if it's not our listing, we can pull up, some pretty good information about these different properties. So what do they have? They have property maps. So we can show these buyers exactly where they are. And most buyers are used to seeing, all this kind of information, but we're just directing them and making sure that they know this is exactly how we train our buyers and sellers to view our properties. So all these websites have our aerial view. So this is a Google Maps or a Google Earth aerial view of the property. And then where available, they also have the street view. So you can wander around and say, oh, this is exactly what it looks like to be on this corner, and this is exactly what I can expect. So again, if a person's, if a buyer's putting in an offer sight unseen, they are going to need this kind of information in order to, have their expectations met and to understand exactly what these, properties are all about. So, and hold on one second here. I think we've got Travis back. Okay, Travis, you're back with us, correct?
I'm back.
All right, good man. Anything to add to that into just, making sure our clients and our buyers are utilizing our online tools?
Well, you always want to pull them off of, the other big guys out there, because, there's no other agents being advertised in front of them when they're on your site. So
that's true.
It's better to have them be looking at your stuff rather than on Zillow or something where they've got, 10 agents on the right-hand side all
Exactly.
smiling at them, So.
Oh yeah, gleaming teeth and ready to steal your business, right?
Yep, exactly.
So so we want to keep the people off the big sites. We want to keep them on our sites and teach them how to be masters of these online search tools. So the other thing, or step 4 or point 4, would be use phones. Use the phones with, for interactive virtual tours and visual tours. Everybody's got a smartphone these days. If you don't, you need one. And you can do, if you've got an iPhone, you can, wander around the house with FaceTime. And you can show them exactly what things are looking like on FaceTime. Huge tool. And, if you don't have FaceTime, you can, there's also other kinds of things that you can use. Zoom, you can, start a Zoom meeting and walk through the house doing Zoom. There's, probably 100 different programs that you can use. FaceTime is obviously the easiest. So, use phones for these interactive visual tours, and that's a way of showing the property. Travis, have you had an experience lately with showing properties or just using the iPhone for that?
Yeah, I mean, the current listing I have, I did video walkthroughs on it, and for showings, I've been making people view that before going out there just to kind of limit the amount of traffic through the home. Usually you don't want to limit that, but I'm trying to limit it to people who are genuinely interested in the property.
Right. So you create a video, right? A video, yeah. You save the video, and what do you put that video on YouTube, or how do you do that?
YouTube.
Perfect. So easy deal, guys. Create a quick, a walkthrough video, and the clips don't have to be long, because guess what? If somebody wants to see more of the room, they can stop the video and they can rewind. So you don't have to, sit there for 45 seconds and show this room, right?
Yeah, they just want to get a feel for like the layout. So just determine the best way to the best flow through the house, I guess, and take the video that way. Start at the entry and explain yourself as you go.
Exactly. So the next step would be Let me pull up my visual. The next step would be, obviously if the people are out of the area, bring in surrogates with tape measures and all kinds of stuff. So your clients might have families or, family or friends in the area that can view the property on their behalf, and they can take measurements, they can go in and they can, check out some of the stuff for your buyer. And if they don't have somebody like that, then inspectors are also really, really good as well. So, inspectors can be used as surrogates as well. Number 6 would be write contingent offers. Now, obviously sellers are not really into accepting offers from people who have never seen the property. So you may not want to make, an offer contingent on your buyer seeing it, but the standard inspection contingency periods provide opportunity for an on-site visit by the buyers or their surrogates again. So, we can make sure that, we have a little bit of a caveat, or we have a little bit of an out, just in case, right, Travis?
Sorry, I had on mute. Yeah, and I've actually seen some listings lately where they're requiring it to be contingent.
Mm-hmm.
They're not showing it until they have an accepted offer. So that has actually kind of come back around a little bit more lately.
Yeah, exactly. And, even buyers that have toured the property in person, they may need to revisit it during the inspection period, right? So you should urge your absentee buyers to actually visit if at all possible.
Yeah, they really should at least see it once before closing at some point.
I mean, I think it's a really important point. And if not, again, these inspectors are gold if you're not there. And, the inspectors, that brings us to number 7. The inspectors they welcome questions. They want to talk. They have no problem discussing this stuff. Most inspectors, will get into all kinds of stuff with you. So if you're not there, or if your buyer's not going to be there, it's a great idea to get on a conference call with the inspector, with the buyer, and really talk it out. Because, they have, they're the key in this situation, because they're going to be able to, tell you exactly, any kinds of problems or issues. So we're aware. And again, we're managing expectations. So super key. And then, number 8, prepare buyers to walk into a smaller, uglier reality. So you don't want to build anything up and, fluff, we all want to make the sale, but you got to be realistic with these kinds of buyers that are making these offers sight unseen, because there's so much, the reality is there's a lot of room to have somebody be very, very disappointed. So we want to make sure that we're selling exactly what this is. We're not, making it to be something else. So that'll help for sure. And, even with looking at, the Google Maps and all the stuff, there still might be some weird stuff. There still might be, the neighbor's house might be a different shade of yellow that you really weren't able to see on the Google Maps. So there's always something like that can go wrong. So we want to just manage, manage the expectation.
Something you can think about with room sizes, because sometimes it is hard to tell. I mean, maybe the listing says it's a 10 by 12. What does that actually feel like? You could put something in the room if it's a vacant home, that can help them determine the size a little bit better. Like, put a chair in there or something. Kind of like when you hold up a quarter next to something when you're taking a close picture, so someone can gauge how big that item really is. Maybe putting
that's a great call.
A small piece of furniture or something in there to help them determine, okay, I can gauge how big this room is now.
Right. And, because their second job is to haul out the furniture measurements and start arranging the furniture.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them are vacant too. So
for sure. So that's why, number 9 is important, is, grid paper rules. So get, supply your buyers with some grid paper and a tape measure and a ruler and, several brand new sharp pencils, and let them know that they need to, measure the rooms and create a scale drawing for each of the rooms on the grid paper. Great idea. if they're not able to be there, all the time. That way they can measure their furniture and start arranging how things are going to look, on the grid paper. And I think that's a really good key thing to help your buyer with. That way, they can really gauge exactly what's going to happen when they actually move everything in. So, and it's something that I don't think most people do. When I move, I don't really do that. I kind of have an idea of where things are going to go, but mapping it out before you get there, I think is a really good idea. So number 10 is just, a great agent is the key to success. And we've got so many good agents, at Alta, and you guys generally do a really good job of, representing your buyers and purchasing these properties. So, purchasing these sight unseen properties is probably one of the most difficult challenges that agents face, because like I said, there's just so many things that can go wrong. And you can get easily sucked into viewing endless numbers of properties, sketching all these different floor plans and emailing your buyers, and all of it, obviously, as we know, might not even lead to a sale. So in general, you don't want to take on an absentee buyer unless they really face a near-term purchase deadline and they understand what you can do and what you can't. So, again, just being that great agent, setting the expectations properly, and making sure that our buyers are not going to be, sold a property that they hate. That's the absolute worst thing that could happen, right? So that's about it. So first of all, I want to make sure that everybody knows that we do have a chat feature. And so if there's any questions, always go ahead and put them in the chat. Love to have more interactive kind of webinars. So don't hesitate to ask questions. And, because I think we can all really gain a lot from hearing what other agents are doing and what other agents are going through. So if you ever have anything that you want to add, please just, type into anything you want into the chat. With that, Bill, any takeaways from today's webinar?
There's always takeaways. I think really just now more than ever, it's just about having really good attention to detail, what you're doing, and really being mindful of the state of the market.
Yeah, even more so now.
Yeah, I just think that there's a lot of sensitivities out there with people, and where some of us might feel completely comfortable with the situation. We're not worried. Hey, we're going to run out there and business as usual, but other people are scared and, need that, maybe the extra, virtual tour. They need the video, like Travis mentioned, on YouTube, or they, you just really need to be mindful of who your client is and what their needs are.
Yeah, that's for sure. And
really just kind of slow down. Like we get so caught up in, showing properties and, kind of getting through them quick and, just kind of on the go. And I think it's a good time to really slow down and pay attention to how the buyers are feeling about certain things and what their comfort level is. And, even with, putting in a contingent offer and stuff like that, making sure that the buyer's going to be protected in this, and also the company and you, should something go awry. So, if you have questions on writing a contingent offer or anything, just let me know. It's not hard. You can contact me anytime.
For sure. Yeah,
and I think that's a good point, Travis, because we are used to, before we had this issue in real estate, is we were used to doing 30-day escrows pretty routinely, and now that we do have a little bit more, we have a little more patience with people being able to come to the property, whether it's inspectors or appraisers or different comfort zones. We just have to have that kind of willingness to be patient and slow down a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, perfect. Well, guys, I really appreciate you guys coming on the webinar. Next week, we're going to do a little bit more of a question and answer of what I want to reach out to a couple different agents and see specifically what they're doing. And I want to hear some, and I want to provide some real life situations of things that are going on right now with the COVID-19 situation. So that'll be awesome. I think we can all really learn a lot when we're, bouncing ideas off of other agents. And this forum that we have here on Wednesdays is I think a really good opportunity for us to do that. So agents, thanks for being on the line, and new recruits, really excited that you guys are on the line as well. And if we can help you guys with anything, don't hesitate to reach out and contact us. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you guys next week on the webinar.